Somewhere deep within the wilderness, nature writes not in words, but in roars, claws, and the collisions of raw instinct. This is not your usual wildlife footage. What you're about to witness is a series of the most brutal, intense, and breath-snatching confrontations ever recorded. Stay with us, because what happens next will challenge everything you thought you knew about the natural world. Because in this realm, every moment is a test. There are no retakes, no rules, just survival. The forest doesn't care about fairness. The river doesn't choose sides, and the predator doesn't pause for reflection. Every rustle in the brush could be a trap. Every silence could be a scream held back by the trees. This is where strength meets cunning, where instinct clashes with desperation, and where the weak vanish without a sound. From sun-scorched plains to icy mountain rivers, from nocturnal ambushes to midday battles under an unforgiving sky, this is nature exposed in its most raw and unfiltered form. So brace yourself, because what lies ahead is not just a spectacle, it's survival, unfolding second by second, claw by claw. A mother buffalo can weigh up to 2,000 pounds, with horns over 1 meter long, lethal enough to bring down a full-grown lion. When her calf is attacked, her first response isn't to flee, it's to charge like a storm. Research from the University of Pretoria shows that more than 70% of lion attacks on calves fail when the mother reacts within the first 10 seconds. She fights with her body and her heart. Elsewhere, a frail old lion risks everything by targeting a buffalo twice its size. This is a textbook case of predation desperation, when hunger pushes predators to attempt the impossible. This battle isn't just power, it's the razor-thin line between instinct and despair. Buffalo hooves slam the ground like funeral drums. Each tail whip and horn thrust carries the full weight of primal rage. The lion clings to a final chance, but its teeth are now symbols only. Eyes dim, reflexes slow. The buffalo offers no mercy. A devastating blow to the gut sends the lion crashing. No victory roar, just the labored breath of two survivors. When instinct hits the wall of biology, when courage can't beat age, even kings must choose between death and retreat. This time the buffalo wins, but there is no joy, because tomorrow it may be her turn to face the edge. A clash between two male lions isn't just brute strength. According to Panthera's behavioral research, over 60% of territorial fights end when one lion bows, a primal display of submission. In the lion's world, power is often declared by a stare, not spilled blood. For lionesses, oxytocin triggers lightning-fast maternal defenses. The threat may come from kin or pride mates, but if the cub's life is on the line, blood will be shed. Pride life is a daily struggle. Rank, food, and breeding rights, all earned through force. A dominant male rules for just 2 or 3 years before being overthrown. And when that moment comes, he doesn't just lose status, he risks death. Younger males prowl at the borders, growling in the dark. One wrong move, one misplaced glare, and the savannah runs red. Sometimes roars aren't calls, they're warnings. Battles can rage for hours or end in seconds with a quiet bow. Some step back to survive. Others stand for honor, to roar one last time. Out here, survival isn't always claws and teeth. Sometimes it's the silence before the storm. The honey badger wears armor, skin 6 millimeters thick, twice that of any small mammal. Loose enough to let it twist inside its own hide and counterattack while being bitten. More terrifying, its nervous system shuts off pain. Venom, bites, barely registers. Smithsonian records tell of honey badgers surviving python coils for 3 minutes, then turning to attack. They never back down. One badger can take on 3 leopards and force them back, step by step. Even wounded, it lashes out, biting, tearing with madness that doesn't fade. They don't win through muscle, they win through fearlessness. Grizzly bears are among the fastest sprinters of the large animal kingdom, reaching 35 miles per hour. That's fast enough to catch a moose weighing over 1,300 pounds. Their sense of smell is over 2,000 times sharper than humans. The scent center in their brain, 4 times larger than ours. They don't need to see prey. They only need to smell it from over 13 miles away. Fights over whale carcasses show a phenomenon called competitive interference, where the goal is dominance, not food. A single paw strike carries over 1,300 psi, twice the force of a professional boxer's punch. When grizzlies collide, it's not instinct. It's ancient order reawakening. Heavy breaths, blood on snow, fur ripped by wind. They don't roar like lions, they don't scream, but each slash is a silent claim to the throne. They fight not to kill, but to stay on top. A grizzly can rise to 10 feet tall, claws 4 inches long. One side strike can knock an enemy senseless. That towering stance, not a bluff, it's control. Some fights end in exhaustion, both bears walking away, others don't. The loser, eyes frozen wide, left in the snow while the victor walks off in silence. That's northern law, no heroes, only survivors. Under a blazing sun, a troop of baboons marches in tight formation. To outsiders, it's chaos. But inside, it's a military society. Every member, a role. Baboons can weigh up to 100 pounds. Their canines, longer than a leopard's. Bite force, 500 psi, enough to crush bone. In the brush, a leopard crouches, muscles tense. Eyes sharpened, it leaps for a baby. The air snaps. The mother spins, screams. Females rush in, shield the young. But that's not the end. A dominant male, pure muscle, launches like a missile. The leopard reels. But before it strikes back, the entire troop storms in. A blitz, violent, coordinated. The predator flees. This time the victim wasn't the infant. It was the leopard's pride. And the baboons? They needed no command, no plan. Just instinct, honed over millions of years. Duke University studies show baboons can recognize over 80 troop members, tracking each one's rank, like humans and elephants. They know who leads, who protects. And when threatened, the troop becomes a war machine, precise, ruthless, unrelenting. They will tear an intruder apart, not for revenge, but because the jungle offers no mercy to the reckless or the alone. Night falls. 2 porcupines lead their young through dense thickets. Above them, a cold-eyed leopard watches. It steps silently, smooth, calculated. One leap, one bite, that's all it needs. But instinct fails. Both porcupines turn, raising a fortress of quills. An adult can bear over 30,000 needles, each up to 12 inches long, sharp enough to pierce leopard hide at the right angle. Every step forward comes at a cost of blood. The leopard moves left. The porcupines turn, right? They pivot again. The leopard backs off, unhurt, but empty. Claws do not guarantee victory. Biologists in South Africa report leopards succeed only 18% of the time against porcupines. Failure means more than hunger. It can mean crippling wounds. In one thermal camera recording, a young leopard strikes at night. But as its claw lands, the porcupine spins, embedding dozens of quills into the leopard's foreleg. The predator howls, limps into the darkness. Days later, it's found dead, killed not by fang or claw, but by infection. This is not a fair duel. One side holds speed, the other, patience and armor. And sometimes the silent, immovable force is what brings down pride. Under the scorched sun of Africa, death can strike with a single bite. But one tiny creature stands tall against the deadliest snakes, the mongoose. It isn't big, it isn't fast, but it has a secret weapon, a nervous system resistant to acetylcholine, the main target of neurotoxins like cobra and black mamba venom. The black mamba can strike 12 times a second. Its venom can kill 15 adults. But the mongoose doesn't panic. It circles, dodges, forces the snake to adjust. One spin, one leap, a bite to the neck. The snake spasms, then stills. African Wildlife Institute data shows mongoose survival rates in such duels exceed 85%. Sometimes they initiate the fight to protect territory or young. In nature, strength isn't everything. Reflexes and resistance can rewrite the rules. A lone lioness, lost in shadow. Laughter rings from every direction. Hyenas, fearless in many. A single clan can number 80 strong. Bite force, over 1,100 psi, stronger than a lion's. They don't duel, they swarm. The lioness plants her paws, roars, not a threat, a declaration. I am still here. The pack charges, but then other roars answer. 3, 4, 5 lions explode from the darkness. Hyenas retreat, no laughter, only ragged breath. Nature isn't fair, but it remembers the dead. Lion Recovery Fund reports nightly clashes in Serengeti, where hyenas use the dark to their advantage. But when lions unite, balance shifts. Precision strikes, bone-breaking bites. One injured hyena was tracked dragging itself for over 2 miles. It survived but maimed forever. Their laughter, now echoes of defeat. Slow and bulky? Don't be fooled. The hippopotamus is Africa's most dangerous heavyweight. It sprints at nearly 20 miles per hour. Its bite? 1,800 psi, enough to crush a wooden boat. Territorial and fierce, one male commands entire stretches of water, guarding his females with brutal discipline. In the lower Zambezi, a 4-meter crocodile dares approach hippo calves. It doesn't survive. The dominant bull crashes in like a quake. One bite, one flip. The croc is tossed into mud and silence. It ends in less than 30 seconds. But the aftermath? A floating carcass, jaws wide in death. Not every scaled hunter rules. Surveys from Okavango Delta show over 60% of crocodile intrusions end with injury or death. Deep bites, shattered skulls. The swamp is still but deadly. Graceful, fast, but antelope are always hunted, especially by leopards who can hit 60 miles per hour in 3 seconds. Yet National Geographic notes 65% of chases fail thanks to antelope agility. In Serengeti, one rare duel flips the script. An adult antelope doesn't flee, it fights. As the leopard lunges, the antelope spins. Its 30-inch horns pierce the predator's neck. The leopard retreats, wounded. The antelope survives and rewrites the story of prey. Nature isn't just hunter and hunted. Sometimes the hunted strikes first. Oxford studies show 15% of leopard injuries stem from prey, mostly warthogs and antelope. Instinct isn't just flight. Sometimes instinct says fight. The wild has no ending, only cycles that begin again. The victor today may fall tomorrow. The weak of yesterday may rise as legends. Blood falls, claws break, roars shake the air, all for one right to exist. In lands where screams are speech, where borders are carved by fang, each battle whispers a truth. Nature doesn't need spectators, but once you've seen it, you'll never forget. If you're ready, stay with us. The next battles will be even fiercer, because in the wild there are no truces, only pauses. Every survivor carries scars, not just on flesh, but in memory. And those scars are maps, warning others, reminding themselves. The jungle forgets no blood. The plains forgive no weakness. The river erases no defeat. And somewhere out there, another challenger waits. A younger claw, a sharper fang, a creature not yet known. It watches, it waits, and when the moment comes, it strikes. Because in nature, every silence holds a storm, and every heartbeat is a countdown.